Greetings, Cokosh. From beyond the veil, a strange but familiar voice speaks forward to you, but more through you, as if to someone else, from giving you information and knowledge. Recently, perhaps a little further back, you split from the Stormbringers in order to stay within Waford. While in Waford, you'd be advising and learning underneath Rotmus Vandar, the headmaster and magical expert, residing within Waford and acting as the advisor to Dolrum Ebder. When you first spoke to Rotmus, he disregarded your request to learn beneath him, to learn mystic arts of that of the wizarding world. The second time you spoke to him, perhaps it was something you said, or the skill in persuasion, or perhaps you thought about using magical means in order to convince him. If he would be angry about it later, so be it. But something convinced him. Perhaps he saw a willingness to learn the magical means, or perhaps it's your friendship with Durengir and the other Stormbringers that perhaps had some sway on his decision. For now, you don't know, but Rotmus still, at the moment, is not fully trusting of you. After all, he was given responsibility over Saya in order to watch over her, for safety of others and herself. Any time that you and Rotmus proceed to go into Saya's chamber, you are told not to engage in conversation, but over time, he eventually allowed a few words from you, and eventually sharing in half the conversation. Every day, Rotmus simply observes, looking to understand Saya and her thought process, and the predicament that she is now in. Each morning, when you awake, you start your day helping with Rotmus, acquiring pieces of tomes and knowledge, various exotic ingredients, and other necessary items throughout all of the Waford capital, rising and descending to different floors and levels and different shopkeepers and people who are asked to provide various means for research. Essentially, running errands all across the area. Eventually, after some well-placed learning and following of Rotmus's orders and direction, you are eventually allowed access into one of his more designated rooms. With a tap of the staff on stone, a portal appears. Stepping through, you find yourself in an inviting room, a large circular room, lined across the outer walls, many, many books, and many desks upon which you can write and work. A large spiral staircase follows the outside wall, rising up 2 more floors. Within the center of the room, there are large gathering pits full of plush pillows, simply to lounge and relax and read in an enjoyable manner. Directly across from where you enter, you see a large open-air balcony, upon which you see looks to be a view across the most beautiful landscape imaginable. lush forests, and even occasional birds flying by. The scenery always looks like to be either sunset or sunrise, but it is hard to tell which. Likely this entire room is magically designed. When you ascend to the other levels, the first appears to be more of a resting chamber, a large space filled with many beds. Clearly this would be a gathering hall of some kind, a mass sleeping room for many other students or other wizards who happen to be here, studying and learning alongside Rotmus if he accepted additional help. The next floor above appears to be an observatory with a glass ceiling domed, similar to the shape of a sphere, and a large main telescope pointed upwards towards the sky and the stars. While you spend your time running errands and gathering, you're likely spending your time not only collecting what you need, but also what you need to know. Information, checking the halls, and jotting down notes from occasional books. Knowing that Rotmus doesn't fully trust you, he's likely keeping an eye on you in some formal manner. Last thing you need is a constant adult over your shoulder wanting to know what you're doing when you're simply writing down a checklist for ingredients to receive. When you may actually be looking for ways to try and help Saya or Durangir or any of the other Stormbringers. Perhaps even the smallest amount of money that you are given, as when you run errands you are given small chunks of change. Perhaps some of this you're holding on to yourself for research, or whatever means you need them for. Or perhaps you're squirreling it away to eventually send back home to your parents back in Buranol, simply to help them. Whatever your means may happen to be, that is up to you. Whatever your thoughts and feelings, that is determined by you. Of being in this space, working underneath a legitimate wizard, and actually learning some wizardry and real magic. Magic that is more than simply persuading those around you to open their coin purse, or stealing away someone's acquired items. You're now actually learning real magic, to understand the weave around you and how it functions within the world. How you plan on using that is up to you, to either the benefit of yourself or others, or simply to hinder those around you, to do harm or help. That is your decision. This is more of a retelling, but upon this retelling you also know that Waford is planning to go to war against Karvima in an attempt to give aid. Buranol will be providing assistance as well, as along with an alliance recently formed with the Closma territory and the elves from that region, in order to supply lumber and trade, and eventually face the mountain golem. You know that from rumors and hushed voices that people are becoming concerned about the war, but also the concern far south, as the once home of Kagdaran is now a smoking volcano, ready to go at any moment. the chance of 2 wars on either side of the land would be devastating. But for now, people are focusing on the mountain golem at hand, as ordered by King Dolrum Ebder. Preparations go slowly, but they are moving, and eventually they'll move quicker once the first shipment of wood and lumber is received from the Closma territory. But this is simply a retelling of your story thus far. Confirm with me upon what the minimum has been stated, and if more is to be discussed, you know how to reach me. But until then, you slowly slink your way through the halls, eventually collecting more notes and bits of knowledge throughout the halls of Waford.